Hello and welcome to the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. With 4 race starts, we're going to start with our Category 4 riders, then 3, 2 and 1. Our riders lined up in yellow, that is our Category 1 riders. In green, our Category 2. In blue, Category 3 and Category 4 riders. Category 4 approaching the 19-kilometre mark, Category 3 at 17.5. 13k covered for Category 2 and just approaching 10 kilometres for Category number 1.
Martins is pushing at 7 watts per kilo. Vujasin, Safrazad, Popovic, Zanaska are the riders in the pack behind, but Martins is the first rider to really push and to really try and stretch and break this group. Less than 400 metres to go. Safrazad is pushing on hard. Knudsen is not far behind, 3 seconds back to Michael Knudsen as Safrazad pushes with 150 metres to go. He's on the downhill segment now and he's going to kick, and you're going to see the finish line up front, and it's coming fast, and Safrazad goes through that line.
So here we go, the second qualifier of January. We have seen the return of the one and only Michael Vink. He's going to come through. He's kicking hard to the line. He's being chased behind by a huge group of riders, but Michael Vink comes through and takes victory. Look at the pace he's putting in.
He drops into that descent, and that descent is absolutely crucial. It's sub 13% as they kick onto the climb, and Safrazad takes the climb and he takes the win.
The man who's going to lead this home, it is going to be Reno coming in. Renoche is going to take the victory here. Category 2 rider stays clear. He's going to take the victory overall. He comes through. This is the run in to the finish coming in. This is going to be really interesting to see who is going to get their timing right. We're at 6%. We have a kick up on to the circle at the top. The banner comes into sight. Here we go. This is the run for the line. Safrazad has got at 12.7. 12.4 being answered by Knudsen. This is the 1-2. Knudsen's coming for Safrazad. Can Safrazad hold on? He just keeps it.
Hello and welcome to the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. We are here on the 5th of February for qualifier race number 1. And as you saw, January, we had some fast and furious racing, and our final last week was absolutely brilliant with that huge climb and that close finish, as you've just seen there. So what do we have in store today? Well, my name is Emma Martin and I am going to be taking you through all of the action today for qualifier number 1 in February. So last week, our men faced a phenomenal final climb with 835 metres of ascent. This week, it's a different course and a different challenge. So today, 45 kilometres race distance with an elevation of 506 metres. So a faster course and very different today. So 4 climbs today. The first 3 climbs, the average gradient no more than 2%, but at 36.8 kilometres, the men join that final Category 3 climb today with the finish line at the top. It's an average gradient of 5.2%, but as you can see there, it is a stepped climb, and there are some very steep sections on that climb to the finish line at the top. So 7 segments today as well, and those segments are individually timed, so they will give us an indication of the racing and how the racing is progressing today. So 7 of those segments today will help us see through our 4 different categories. Our 4 categories today, Category 1, Category 2, Category 3 and Category 4, all with different start lines, and you can see there on that start line those Category 4 riders are on the final countdown. So in our Category 4 race today, we have 13 riders On the start sheets today, they will be those riders in those red jerseys, and we have no teams today. So the team competition really rounding out that final, and we can see today 13 individual riders on those start sheets, but we have some class riders on those start sheets today. Finati is there, Goldborn is there, Burnett, Mendoza, Agudela, all of these riders putting in great performances. So away we go on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club for the first qualifier of February, the Category 4 men away as Novella takes that turn with the pack, and the pack have rolled out from that start line as a large group. So we are underway on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club for February. We are in with Goldburn, Videla, Orego. These riders really rolling through this start, pulling a strong start and stretching that Category 4 race field, but that Category 4 race field not splitting yet, just stretching as they roll through the flat start on this course today. So the flat start on this course today, 1.7 kilometres of flat tarmac before the riders get to that first small climb on this course today. So 4 climbs in total today for these men, but the first 3 with not particularly steep gradients. So just a maximum gradient averagely of 2%. So it will be a rolling course and a rolling course today for these men on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club until they hit that final Category 3 climb today with the finish line at the top. So Kamesh is firmly established within the middle of this group of Category 4 riders moving through as a large pack, moving through at a strong pace, just over 35 kilometres an hour at the moment. The first kilometre covered now in 1 minute and 44 seconds. So rolling well today. You can see on the top right hand corner of your screen in the graphic at the top a tight bunch of red riders there in that Category 4 group. In fact, that graphic on the top right hand corner of your screen is a really good one to take note of what is going on in the pack and what is happening in the race. As we leave our Category 4 riders on the right-hand side of your screen, you can see on the left-hand side of your screen those Category 3 riders still warming up for their start today. So the Category 3 riders in the blue jerseys today will be our next riders to start as we just drop back in with this Category 4 group. So Orego here is where with Mendoza and Novella. Goulburn is there, Kamesh is there. These riders, strong riders in this category. So indeed, in our final last week, it was Mendoza who took this category from Kaluma, from Goulburn, from Finati, and from Agudela. So a number of these riders in this race field today. So this group are about to see the gradient start to go up as they start to progress onto that first climb of this race today. Whilst we can just see there, we've got our 3 other categories waiting there for the start today. So our Category 4 riders, our first riders underway. Category 3 will be our next group of riders up and away on this course. So our Category 3 riders spinning their legs here, waiting for their start. They will be our next group of riders away. We're in with Eckersley here on this start line. Now, in our Category 3 race today, we have a big race field. We have a number of teams here. So the UAE Road Warriors are here, Team Strikers, and Fat and Furious. And it was Fat and Furious who took the team win in the January final. We have 35 riders on the start sheets today in Category 3. So a really big Category 3 field today in those blue jerseys. We're going to see Simeo on the start line, Eckersley, Dadson. In fact, both Dadsons, Mark and Cameron, Phillips, Parisi, Restrepo, Lopez, the riders who were at the front of the field last week are making all of the action in that January final. So with less than 30 seconds to go now on the clock, those riders in that Category 3 race, their legs are warm and they are awaiting the go. So we are in with Heath Eckersley awaiting the start of this Category 3 race. As the power starts to go down and the watts start to go up, and they're waiting for that banner to drop as the go is about to be underway on this Category 3 race. The riders are away. They are moving strongly out of this gate and they are now taking that corner and out onto the course. So Eckersley nicely in that bunch as this group move away off of the start line. So they are away off this start line. Mamba is now in this group. The group stretched a little bit on that start line, but they are all back together again, nicely covered in that group. So Guven here comfortably at the front of that group. In fact, that whole group comfortably off that start line. So Category 3 rolling comfortably now on this course, the first qualifier in February. On the right-hand side of your screen, you can see that Category 4 race still underway. That Category 4 race is underway and that group are still rolling strongly. They are all still together now. They have indeed moved through that first climb. So a little bit further back down the race field, you can see that Category 3 race just stretching here. They're just moving off of that start line. It's Martinoli who's on the front here, just pushing on a little bit with Parisi and Guven there as well. These riders moving well and moving this pack along this course. They've got that Category 4 pack down the road, and it's that Category 4 pack this group are chasing. So our Category 3 riders here, Martinelli is in the front of this pack with Guven. They are chasing these Category 4 riders down the road. And in fact, Novella in this Category 4 race is the first rider to want to stretch the legs and actually see what we can do with this group. This group had gone out of the start line altogether. There's not 4 kilometres of this race yet complete for this Category 4 group, but Novella is pushing on here. Finati and Goldborn are the ones who are doing the chasing and pulling this group back to Novella. Novella just stretching the legs here. You know, this is a 45-kilometre race today. And we are under 5 kilometres of this course. But this Category 4 race already starting to hot up in February. So as we've seen the attack on the right-hand side of your screen in the Category 4 race, we've got an attack underway also early in this Category 3 race. Martinoli has gone down the road and Martinoli is pushing at 4.5 watts per kilo at the moment. Again, just clear now of that chase group led by Guven there. Eckersley is actually pulling that group along too. And they are just stretching their legs here. Valencia is on the front too. You can just see that group behind, and if Martinoli could turn his head and take a look, he'd see that group chasing him, led by Mamba, with Cameron Dadson is in there too. Lopez is there. Eckersley as well. They don't really want him to get away, but they're not pushing on the power enough to make the catch at the moment because Martinoli is at 4.7 watts per kilo. Absolutely adamant he wants this attack to stick, utilising this first small climb on the course to put that attack in today. So the first climb on the course today comes at 1.7 kilometres. It is 2.6 kilometres in length with an average gradient of 1.1%. So you're not going to see huge steep climbs, but currently the gradient here for these riders at 2.4%, which is enough for Martinoli to continue to push on at around 4 watts per kilo. And he's putting some distance between himself and the group behind, now sitting at around a 10-second gap. So Will Cornish takes over the chase from behind as the rest of the pack still sitting at around 3.5 watts per kilo. So not at a pace where they are going to be bringing Martinoli back any time soon. So the chase behind now, Guven has decided that Martinoli has been out there long enough, as Guven just puts a little bit more power down and comes to the front of that group. Mamba is the rider next door to him. Mark Dadson is also there. These riders, I can't imagine they really want Martinoli to be out, but Martinoli is now out of sight of this chase group. So Martinoli putting in a fantastic effort has now got just over 100 metres clear of this chase group behind. What an attack from Martinoli early in this race. But this is a long race today. 3 kilometres only covered so far by this category 3 race field of this 45-kilometre race. But Martinoli has ridden away early on from this group. So Martinoli well clear now of this group, and he's extending his lead. 12 seconds now. This gap is up to for Martinoli on the group behind. In fact, Martinoli has now just backed off the pace a little bit and is still sitting, though, just around what the chase group behind are doing. So he's backed off that pace a little bit. He's established a gap and is now looking quite comfortable out on his own. So that category 3 race currently at 3.6 kilometres. The category 4 race further down the field at 6.3 kilometres travelled. So that category 4 race still a good group and a good pack working together as they continue to move down that race field. Martinoli is the category 3 rider who's gone on the attack and is clear of that category 3 pack. And he is indeed the next rider on the road behind that lead category 4 group. So still sat in the start pens awaiting the go are our category 1 race field and our category 2 race field. And it's our category 2 race field in those green jerseys that will be the next category to start today. So the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club has entered February. We are here on qualifier race number 1. The category 4 field is the first race that was underway in February. They are 6.8 kilometres down this race track. Novella is sitting in here with Mendoza and Camish and Goldborn and Finati. These riders are tapping away very comfortably in this group. 7 kilometres now covered. At 4.4 kilometres behind them, Martinoli has attacked that category 3 race field, attacked it early, and 15 seconds clear at the moment of the chasing pack, which includes all the main competitors in that category 3 race. So Simeo is in there, Parisi is in there, Phillips, Dadson, Eckersley, Restrepo, Lopez. These are the riders in the group behind Martinoli. So Martinoli doing an amazing job of attacking this race field early, but we're not seeing any responses coming from that group behind. They seem exceptionally happy to let Martinoli stay out on front. So in the category 2 race field, the legs are warm and they are awaiting the go in that start pen. So in our category 2 race today, we have 30 riders on the start sheets today in those green jerseys. So 30 riders on the start sheets today. 1 team on the start sheets, the UAE Falcons, in that category 2 race. It was Crazy Horses, the team who took the win last week from Team Draft in category 2. And we will be seeing who the stronger teams are in February when we come to our February final later in the month. So our riders on those start sheets, Ospina is in there, Abello is in there, Giuliano, Milano, Baltazar, Maglio, Smithson, Moreno, Cadiz, Gakes. We have some strong riders in this Category 2 race field today. So as Martinelli continues to push on in that Category 3 race, the chasing group are going to be these Category 2 riders. So the power goes down and the Category 2 riders are away on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club February qualifier race number 1. So Orego is in this group with Aura-Methri and Gutierrez. Acker is in here too. So is Milano, Annabello and Torrentino. These riders pushing on. This is a good, strong race field of Category 2 riders today. And it is stretching out of those start gates as we need to make sure all those riders are on. We've got one rider just off the back there, now just pushing on and closing down that gap to ensure that pack all go out of that start pen together. So our Category 2 race field motoring well out of those start gates. The pace has picked up and the group has been stretched. And we're seeing over 40 kph out of those start pens as this pace is now high and this group are rolling well. We've got one rider just getting distanced off the back of that group. You can see the graphic on the top right-hand corner of your screen showing that really well. This is a flat start for the first 1.7 kilometers on this course today, and that means a fast start and a rolling start, and the group, and such a large group of riders, will continue to roll really fast. And if you miss your start and you don't quite get that timing right, you can indeed be in danger. And we've got one rider in this Category 2 race off of the back of this group. But in the front of the group, we've got Hamden and Abello with Cardenas and Maglio just pushing on and ensuring this pace is staying high at around 40 kph, the first kilometre now done. So our Category 2 pack are well underway now on this MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. We are February qualifier race number 1, and we have a Category 3 climb finish today. The finish is at the top of that Category 3 climb. It's 6.2 kilometres long. It's got an average gradient of 5.2%. Absolutely nothing in comparison to what our men faced last week in the January final, which saw a final climb of 15 kilometres and 835 metres of climbing. Today's final climb, just 296 metres of climbing. So a very different finish today for February qualifier number 1, and a very different race today for this Category 2 field. So Abello, Cardenas, Hamden, Gakes, Maglio are all in this group. This Category 2 field still tapping along at a very strong pace. It's been a fast start. You know, average kph has been around 38 to 40. So this pack moving really strongly on this race field today. A little further down the road, in fact, this is the lead group on the road today at 10 kilometres now into this race. This is our Category 4 pack. This is the race field that started first today, and it's Goldburn and Mendozis on the front of this pack with Kamish and Restrepo in there as well. Finati is there and Novella. These riders riding strongly and staying well and truly out front today. So 2.5, 2.6 kilometres behind them is our Category 3 race field. And you can see this pack are riding strongly. Now, we did have one rider out front on that race pack, and I'm sure we will come back to that shortly. Now, our Category 1 race field is indeed the race field that have yet to start today. So in total, we have a huge Category 1 race field today, 61 riders on the start sheets. And in terms of the teams, the UAE Clan team are there, PKT Training, Italian Gelato, Danish Pavlova. These teams are all in here, along with Cooked Cookies, Biggies, and Belgian Waffles. And Belgian Waffles, second placed team in our January finals. They were beaten indeed by the UAE Clan team, who took the win last month. So, riders in our Category 1 field. It is a packed field. Now, we saw Safrazad take the win in the final last month from Knudsen, from Popovic, Vujasin and Martins. Those riders all riding really strongly and showing their climbing skills last week. So, we're sitting in with Rolink here, awaiting this start. So the power goes down, and our Category 1 riders are away on the February qualifier race number 1 on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. Clark, Rollick, Biarhead, Damro, all pulling at the front of this pack and moving strongly. Rollick, indeed, putting a massive kick off that start line at 9 watts per kilo. A huge kick to lead that Category 1 field out of those start pens. And look at that gap. 2-second gap to the chasing field, but that pack are going to come back to him, and I cannot imagine he is going to stay out front for long. So a massive kick off the start line, quickly shut down by Phil Graves. Graves, Safrazad, Popovic, Vujasin. These riders are pulling this pack back to Rolling, who is the rider who put a massive kick out of the start gates today. So Rollick still riding strongly at 5 watts per kilo. Graves on his wheel. Vujasin, Popovic, Althebes, Knudsen, SS, Damro. These are the riders closing this gap down. And look at the stretch on that Category 1 race field. The pack is being pulled already, and that stretch on that group as this fast start by Rolink is actually being brought back now by this group. So a little bit of damage being done there off of the start line today in this Category 1 race by Rolink, as we just sit in with X100 comfortably in that pack. The pack are all now back together again, but we have indeed seen riders drop off the back of that group already. So the Category 1 race is well and truly underway, and we've already seen a fast and furious start from Rolink, and the group being brought back together again by Graves. Graves is the rider who jumped onto Rollink's wheel, but we've got a couple of riders dropped off that pack already because that fast-paced start has already done some damage to that race field. So we can see now the Category 2 race. We've got an attack going off the front of that Category 2 race at they have not even done 5 kilometres into this race, and we're in with Spratt at the moment, and Spratt is part and parcel of that 2-man breakaway in Category 2. A little bit further back, or further up the road, should I say, in the Category 3 race, we've still got a large pack of riders moving at a good, strong pace. So Rolling has gone again. So Rolling puts in a second attack onto this race today. So not comfortable with just putting the attack out of the start pen. Rolling is continually trying to push this pace, continually trying to move as we motor through this first part of this race course. So the pack here contains Popovic, Paradin, Zanaska, Nair, Van Elst, Graves, Safrazad, Knudsen, Bushmuller, Panizza. These riders are all in here, but it is Rolink who is the rider who is continually trying to push this group today and ensure a really high pace on this Category 1 race. So Rolink continuing to push. Graves is the rider again doing the closing down, with Paridians in here too. Knudsen, SS, Vujasin is here as well as Bushmuller and Van Elst and Simeons. These riders bringing Rolink back again into the fold. So this Category 1 race has been lit from the gun. Rolink flew out of those start gates today at 9 watts per kilo and stretched the field to start, not content after he'd been brought back into the pack, but another attack and to go again today. So our men's qualifier race number 1, all 4 categories now on to the race. X100 sat comfortably in that group. Rollink is now well in that group and has been brought back in that group, are motoring well together. Hoyas is in there, Thompson is in there, Ospina is in there too. There's a wide range of riders in this group, and expecting, if the first 2.5 kilometers are anything to go by, a fast and furious attacking ride in this category 1 race today. So we had a really big start field today in this category 1 race, 61 riders on the start sheets today, and some really class names in there as well. So the riders, we have Vujasin, Martins, Van den Eckhout, Van Elst, Osborne, Knudsen, Zanaska is in here. Rollink is the rider who has put the 2 attacks in so far. Now, happy and comfortable, it seems to be sat in that group, that large pack, and rolling through with those riders. So, in terms of our segments today, so 7 segments on this race course today, and we can see by the results in front of you, it is indeed our category 2 riders who have gone through that first segment of 1 kilometre the fastest. So Nicholas Spratt and Zayed Hamdan are the 2 riders who put in that attack in that category 2 race field. 1 minute 45 seconds for Spratt going through the fastest. You can see that attack 7 seconds faster than the chase group in that category 2 race. Now our category 1 riders 10 seconds behind that time. So this is indeed Spratt and Hamdan, our lead 2 riders who have put that attack into that category 2 race and have set the fastest time through segment number 1. Now, category 1 race field, 10 seconds down on the time of Spratt and Hamdan through that segment. So Spratt and Hamdan pushing on in this category 2 race. They've got a 10-second gap back to Aura Methri and Giuliano, who are at the front of that category 2 pack doing the chasing, but it doesn't look like that chase is particularly strong at the moment. That gap is still holding, and Hamdan just coming through past Spratt to pick up that pace. So these 2, it looks as though they are working well to keep that pace high in this 2-man breakaway, and maintaining that gap of around 8 seconds at the moment on the chase field behind them. So our category 1 race field were our last riders on the course today, currently just coming up at 4.3 kilometres. You can see the gap there to our 2 lead riders in the category 2 race are just coming up to 7.8 kilometres travelled. In our category 3 race, currently the lead of that race is at 12.3 kilometres, and our category 4 race, who are our leading riders on the road today at the moment, 14.15 kilometres into this 45-kilometre race. So we can see those gaps, and this category 1 race field have got nearly 10 kilometres in front of them to catch that category 4 leading group on the road today. Just under 10 kilometres separating this category 1 pack with our leading category 4 pack on the road. So these 4 individual race starts, category 4 riders starting first, category 3, category 2, and then our category 1 race field. And this category 1 race field has some really strong riders in it today. We're in with Jones X100, Vujasin Al-Thib, who has been making some great early plays throughout January in these races. Martins is here. Martins had an outstanding race last week. In fact, was the first rider to really make any of the action in that category 1 men's January final, and was rewarded with a 5th place overall behind Safrazad, Knudsen, Popovic and Vujasin. So Martin's really on form at the moment. So this category 1 field ticking along really strongly, the pace remaining high. They are up and over the first climb of the day. So 4 climbs today on this men's race course. The first 3 climbs, average gradient, all under 2%. So a rolling course for the men today until they come into that final category 3 climb where the finish line is on top. And whilst the average gradient of that category 3 climb is 5.2%, it has some exceptionally steep sections. So that is what is facing these men further down this race course. As you can see on the right hand side of your screen, the front of that category 2 pack, and in the comparison, the front of the category 1 pack chasing them behind. And the distance, the category 2 field at 9.3k, the category 1 field at 5.9 kilometres. So still some distance to close down that category 2 field by these category 1 riders. But we've got Hamden and Spratt are back in with this group. So the group have indeed caught that 2-man breakaway in this category 2 field. Spratt and Hamden have been pulled back in. Maglio, Cardenas, Gakes, Acker, Abello, Ospina are the riders here in the front of this group with Hamden and Spratt now. So this group of category 2 racers all back now in what is an exceptionally large race field today. There were 30 riders on the start sheets today in this category 2 race, and that is a large race field. So Murphy, Graves and Van den Ecker are the riders underneath that blue banner, signifying the end of the segment number 2. And in fact, Van Elst and Graves continue to push. SS Knudsen are there as well, and that group is just being stretched. But let's take a look at this segment as well. So segment number 2 mirroring segment number 1, and it is indeed the attack and the pull back of that category 2 race field that has given the fastest times through that segment. So taking a look here, Moreno is the fastest rider through that segment with Skretting, Annabello and Ospina, 1:27 the fastest time through there. So this category 2 race field are really motoring. They were pulling back the 2 attacking riders in that race field, and it's given them the fastest time through segment number 2. In fact, our category 1 race field, 5 seconds slower than that category 2 race field. So category 1 through segment number 1, 10 seconds slower than category 2. Category 1 through segment number 2, 5 seconds slower than category number 2. And actually what that is telling us is that the category 2 race, that attack and the push from the 2 riders off the front of that category 2 pack, and then the chase from the group and the pulling back in of those 2 riders, has led category 2 to start this race and move through those first 2 segments faster than our category 1 riders. So this category 2 race field are a hot bunch today. They are moving fast and they are lighting up this road as Cadiz and Giuliano here. In fact, Cadiz is the rider pushing on 4.2 watts per kilo at the moment. They do not want to keep this pace steady. These category 2 riders, there has been attack after attack, pull back into the bunch and then attack again. And Cadiz is the rider leading this group out at the moment. It's Kranich and Giuliano that are the riders in 2 and 3, making sure that the gap does not go again to another rider. So the concertina effect of these attacks continues to happen in this category 2 race with the stretch and bring back, as Cadiz pushes again on the front, not happy to have that group comfortably steady and rolling along this course. So back on our category 1 race, the pack are behaving very differently. This pack at the moment, happy to be together, happy to be riding here as a large group. So Paradians, Murphy, Graves, SS, Safrazad, Zanaska, Vujasin, Jones, Thompson, Popovic. the names keep coming of class riders in this Category 1 pack. They are the last group on the road today on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. It was the last category to start on this 45-kilometre race distance. So Ospina here, Vera, Kalman, Addy, Biarhead, Thompson, Price, Van Elst, Martins, and Rollink is in here as well. Now, Rollink was our early attacker and the early pacemaker in this Category 1 race today, but now comfortably in that group. So our Category 4 riders are the riders who are furthest down this race course today. 18 kilometres now travelled for them. They are just around 9.2 kilometres in front of our Category 1 race field. And Mendoza is there with Goulburn, Camash, Finati, Novella is there as well. These riders are pushing on and just stretching this Category 4 race field now. They've still got a significant part of this course to complete before they hit that Category 3 climb that comes towards the end of this race today. So Martin's currently sat comfortably within that Category 1 pack. It's a large pack of riders rolling strongly on this early part of the course at the moment. Currently 9.35 kilometres travelled. They are into segment number 3. So 7 segments on this course today. The first 3 segments, all 1 kilometre. And we have seen our Category 2 race field take those fastest times through those early segments, as we have seen those attacks go in that Category 2 race field and then be brought back throughout that segment. In fact, we talked about attacks, and Maglio is on the attack now in that Category 2 race field. This race field has been so active already today. So Maglio now putting it down the power and stretching that group, but it's Kranich who's bringing that back, and you can see Kranich kicking hard to ensure that Maglio doesn't go down the road. Now, that group has been brought back in, and in fact Hamden is the rider who's gone over the top, and it was Hamden and Spratt who were the first 2 riders to put an attack in today, and Hamden is the rider continuing that attack. 6.5 watts per kilo coming out of Hamden. He's closed Maglio down and gone on the attack himself. So Hamden, Torrento, Maglio there, really starting to stretch that Category 2 race field. And if they are not careful, those Category 2 riders in the back of that pack are going to get caught out with that attack there. And in fact, our Category 1 riders now through segment number 3. And just as we said in segment number 1 and segment number 2 earlier in this race, that lighting up of this Category 2 race field is giving them the fastest times through these segments. Segment number 3 taken there by Al Ramethri, 1 minute and 38, followed by the rest of that Category 2 race field. Our Category 1 riders will just take a little bit of a look down those times. Our Category 1 riders 2 seconds back on that time. So the Category 2 race field continuing to move and continuing to stretch, and the attacks are coming thick and fast now, and you can see the damage it's doing to this Category 2 race field. Hamden has attacked for the second time today, and Hamden was with Spratt in one of those early attacks, but Hamden is the rider putting down the power and stretching that group at the moment, and that Category 2 race field absolutely being decimated by Hamden's attack here as we drop in with our Category 1 race field. And the Category 2 field doing the attacks. Our Category 1 riders, in fact, it's Knudsen who has attacked here. And Knudsen has pushed on with Graves, Zanaska, Van Elst, SS, Clark, Neer and Safrazad. They are stretching this group. Look at the top right-hand corner of your screen and how that group has been stretched and how this attack has pushed this group into a huge long line on the road today. So Knudsen utilising the second climb on this course today. Not particularly steep, but enough for attack as Van Elst goes over the top of Knudsen. Graves is there as well. These three riders now with a little gap back. We've got a couple of seconds gap back now to SS Savrasad, Nair, Clark, Vujjasin. But this push is coming, and this push is now starting to split this group. And I think we are going to start to see a split in this large Category 1 group. So this Category 1 race field has suffered under the attacks here. Van Elst, Graves, Zanaska, Knudsen, SS, Popovic, all at the front of this group, and slowly that group are coming back together again, but we've lost riders from the initial Category 1 group on the road. With this attack here, really instigated by Knudsen, but continue to push and continue to see the damage. And taking a look a little bit back down the road, in fact, is Rollink, one of our early players in this Category 1 race field that is one of our riders dropped here. Rollink, Murphy, Thompson dropped here. Ospina, Pledger have also been dropped. They're a little bit further down the road, but Rollink was the rider who put the attack in on the start line and then went again for an early attack within the first 3 kilometers of this race today. So Rollink, our early attacker, one of the riders caught out by this pace and this attack from Knudsen. So this is our lead group of Category 1 riders on the field, and Zanaska is the next rider to attack. Zanaska has put in a dig. 7.8 watts per kilo from Zanaska as SS and Knudsen are the riders who are chasing him down. Price, Safrazad, Noren, Vanden Eckhart are the riders behind, but it's Zanaska who is pushing on now at the front of this group. So we saw an attack by Knudsen stretch this group and indeed break this Category 1 group. This next attack has come from Zanaska. Not content to let this group sit and ride, Zanaska has pushed on again, and Graves now the rider to come across to Zanaska's back wheel. So as Graves touches the back wheel of Zanaska and comes up alongside him, Zanaska kicks again. Graves is going with him. They're trying to put up a two-man attack now. Van Elst is the rider on the front of the group, stretching behind them. Van Elst, Popovic, Knudsen, Nair, Price, Safrazad. These riders now trying to come across and close this gap. This gap now at 3 seconds. So Zanaska and Graves are the two riders who have pushed on. Zanaska continues to hold the pace strong, continuing to try and ride away from that Category 1 race field. They are working now behind to close that gap. They are working hard, but going round that bend in front of them are the two leading riders in this Category 1 race, Zanaska and Graves. So coming to the front of this group now, it's Popovic and Knudsen with X100. Knudsen and Popovic are the two riders pushing on at the front of the group, and they are now pushing on hard to bring that group back to Graves and Zanaska. And you can see on the top right-hand corner of your screen that push by Popovic and Knudsen is working. Safrazad in that group as well, helping with that work as they close down on the back wheel of Graves and Zanaska. So Graves and Zanaska now sit within that group as Popovic comes over the top, but Graves is pushing on strongly there. Graves just digging in and going again. Graves is absolutely trying to continue this attack and continue this pace, hoping that group are going to sit up after having made that catch. So Philip Graves, adamant he wants to be away from this group. This is the second attack we've seen Graves part and parcel of today as he continues to push on and try and ride away from this Category 1 race field. The pack behind Graves contains a class field of riders: Bjarhead, Zanaska, Van Elst, Jones, Martins, Noren, Popovic, Safrazad, X100, Bjarhead, Kalman. Clark, these riders all in this group, all capable of closing this gap. But Graves just being left hanging out there at the moment. He's not pushed on too far. So I don't think this group are particularly worried at the moment. But Philip Graves continuing to push and push strongly. And in fact, it's SS and Kalman with Safrazad and Clark who are now at that front of that pack, just starting to pick that pace up now and to reel Graves back in. So this Category 1 race field was a huge race field sat in the start pens today. We have seen a number of attacks now that have whittled this race field down. In fact, Rolinka, our early attacker in this race today, is one of the ones who have suffered the damage of this constant high pace and these constant attacks. He is no longer with this leading group of Category 1 riders. But in this group, we have some absolutely class riders today. Martins, Neer, Jones, X100, Vanden Eckhout, Safrazad, Kalman, Zanaska, Price. They are all in here. And we have seen Graves do some attacking here. Nudson's attacked. We have seen the riders being brought back as well. And this group are now all back together again. 15.5 kilometers now travelled in this race is the end of segment number 4. Segment number 4, our first segment of 3 kilometers. And you can see things have changed now. So after the first 3 segments being taken by our attacking Category 2 race field, it's the attacks of our Category 1 race field that have led them to be the fastest riders through segment number 4. In fact, Althebe is the rider who takes that segment the quickest, 3 minutes and 49 seconds. In fact, 5 seconds faster than the rest of that group of Category 1 riders. So our Category 1 riders are indeed the riders now fastest through that segment, so segment number 4. And just taking a little look back down the list, our Category 2 riders 13 seconds slower through that segment. So 13 seconds slower, our Category 2 field through segment number 4. Our Category 1 race field is the race field that has been lit up by those attacks. So Graves is down the road. Althebe is here. Let's have a little look here. In fact, Althebe is gone through the quickest because Althebe is trying to get back onto that group. So Althebe, one of the riders who had been caught out by those earlier attacks and missed the group and missed the bunch, time trialing his way back on to the leading group of this Category 1 race. And that is what has given Althebe the fastest time through segment number 4 today. So Althebe, with his work cut out for him, dropped by that Category 1 lead group earlier on with the attacks that we saw, but pushing on and time trialing his way onto the back of this group, not panicking, and showing that it is possible to get back on a group because that group have attacked and then they have sat up, and Althebe has time trialed his way over that gap and now is rewarded by being on the back of that Category 1 leading pack. So that Category 1 leading pack now at 17 kilometers at 25.19 kilometers down the road ahead of them is our leading Category 4 race field. This race field are the leaders on the road today at the moment. They were the first category to start in February race qualifier number 1, and they are on the lead or in the lead on the road today. So Kamesh, Goulburn, all comfortably in that pack. So around 8 kilometers behind that Category 4 pack is this Category 1 lead group. Our Category 2 lead group, 2.4 kilometers down the road in front of this Category 1 pack. Now, we've seen a lot of action in this Category 2 race, pretty much like we've seen in the Category 1 race already today. So Giuliano, Smithson in here, Abello is in here as well. We've seen attacks and we've seen this Category 2 race field, which again was a large race field today with 30 riders on the start sheets. Attack and Attack has whittled this groups down. So Giuliano, Gates, Bogren, all in here, and Cadiz as well, but it's a small select group now in that category 2 race field. So 4 kilometres further down the road, our category 1 race field, Dadson. It is looking like we've got an attack from Mark Dadson there. Dadson is looking as though he is clear there. We've also got Cosmano as well at the front of that pack too. Well, at the front of that attack, and it's looking like those two riders, Dadson and Cosmano, are the riders clear. It's looking like Parisi is the rider chasing on the front of the pack. So attacks now coming thick and fast across our race fields out there. At 26.2 kilometres is our category 4 riders who are the leading riders on this road today. So back in with our category 1 race field, X100 is the rider pushing on at the front here. Van den Eekhout is the rider in wheel 2. So at 18.5 kilometres, these riders will shortly be seeing the blue banner for segment number 5. So 7 segments on this race today. The first 3 segments are 1 kilometre in length. Segment number 4, 3 kilometres. Segment number 5, 3.5. And then the final 2 segments are both 5 kilometres. The last one finishing with 1.1k to the finish line today. That finish line coming at the top of a category 3 climb. It's a 6.2 kilometre climb with an average gradient of 5.2%, but it's quite a stepped climb, our last climb today. And we will see gradients kick quite steep in places. So that is indeed the start banner of our segment number 5 that our category 1 race field have just gone under. So if you are watching the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club today and you are thinking you would like to join us on the start line in the future, head over to mywhoosh.com. You will find all the information about the Sunday Race Club that you need there. If you click on the events page, there is a section on the Sunday Race Club. You can read the rule set, the technical guide, and the frequently asked questions, and work your way to the start line and join us. We have 4 different categories racing on the Sunday Race Club. There is something for everybody. Take a look, get yourself set up, and join us on the Sunday Race Club on the start line in the future. We would really love to see you. Now, we've talked about an attacking race with category 1 and an attacking race with category 2, and it's Nicholas Spratt who has attacked again that category 2 race field, and this category 2 race field now really being split apart. So Spratt and Hamden put some early attacks in, and they are part and parcel of these latter attacks. So Spratt now going here. Aura Methri is the rider in 2, Hamden in 3, Maglio in 4, Kranich in 5, but these gaps are now coming all the way through this field. Spratt has a 2-second gap to Aura Methri, but Aura Methri, viewers, you will know, Aura Methri is a strong climber in this category 2 race field, and we have seen him do real damage on the climbs. But Spratt has attacked, and Spratt is clear. Aura Methri comes up to Spratt's wheel. Maglio is 7 seconds behind. Hamden a little further back, and then the rest of that group. In fact, it's only Hamden you can see in that shot behind Aura Methri and Spratt. Now, Aura Methri and Spratt, that is a strong duo in that category 2 race field to ride away from the rest of the pack, as we see attacks coming in this category 1 race as well. In fact, we've got Al Thebe who caught the group and has gone over the top. Zanaska, Graves, Al Thebe, Paradens, Vujasin, these riders all moving strongly. In fact, Al Thebe is the rider making the action at the front. Al Thebe, who was not even with this group 4 kilometres ago, made that catch and sat in that pack and recovered, and then attacked up and over the top. So Al Thebe, Graves, Paradens, Vujasin, X100, Knudsen, Van den Eekhout, Kalman, these riders with Safrazad as well in the mix here, pushing on with this group. They've bought back the attack by Althebe, but Althebe is still holding this pace really high. These riders just on a small descent at the moment, and Althebe at 8 watts per kilo here, pushing and kicking. Graves wanting to close that gap, a little kick at 9 watts per kilo from Graves to try and bring that back as Safrazad goes over the top of the Graves to pull Althebe back in. So Althebe making the action at the moment on the front of this Category 1 race. But Clark, Popovic, Vanden Eckhout, Safrazad, Paniza, Jones, Graves, Biarhead. These are the riders in this group pulling Althebe back in as Althebe continues to push on out front of this group today. So this attack here from Althebe. Althebe made the catch. He has sat in the group, recovered and gone out front. So Althebe pushing on here, but we're seeing a kick now and we're seeing a kick go clear of this group to bring Althebe back in. And this group is riding well, and it's Graves who has made the juncture to Althebe's. Now, will Graves sit on his wheel or will Graves go over the top? Knudsen is pushing at 11 watts per kilo behind because he doesn't want Graves and Althebe to ride together. So Knudsen, Justin and Van Elst are the riders pulling and towing the rest of that race field back together. And again, that top right-hand graphic gives you an excellent shot of what is going on. But take a look back down that road. This group is strung out at the moment, and we've got a small gaps forming. But this pace, I think, is going to concertina this group back together again as Knudsen, Vujasin, Van Elst, Graves, Kalman, Peridians, Althebes, and Nazca all start to come back together again, and they're seeing that blue banner, and that's the end of segment number 5. Now, the attacks in that Category 1 race, that fast and furious pullback of Althebe, as you can see on that screen in front of you, is represented in those segment number 5 results. So Althebe putting in the fastest time there, 4 minutes and 38 seconds for that 3.5 kilometre segment. Knudsen there, just over half a second behind, along with the rest of that chasing group. Knudsen, Kalman, Norrens, Anaska, Graves, Addy, Van Elst, Vanden Eckhout, and Vujasin rounding out the top 10 fastest times there. Now, a little bit further down the results of that segment, we can take a look and see that Spratt and Auromethri are still out front of that Category 2 race field. In fact, they went through that segment 14 seconds slower than our Category 1 riders. Now, the chase group on that Category 2 race went through 30 seconds slower than that Category 1 pack. So the riders at the front of that Category 2 field still out front and doing more damage to that race field behind, but they've been joined by Maglio. Maglio has made that juncture to Spratt and Auromethri. So 3 riders now clear of that Category 2 race field, and 3 exceptional riders in that Category 2 race field. Kranich and Moreno and Hamden are the riders back in the pack. They've not made the juncture to that Category 2 group. So Spratt, Maglio and Auromethri are the 3 riders leading this Category 2 race field. And take a look at that. It's nearly 10 seconds back to Kranich and the group behind. In fact, you cannot see that group behind in that shot at the moment as Maglio continues to push on. So Maglio trying to keep this pace high, and these 3 looking as though they are working together to stay away from the group behind. So Maglio, Spratt and Auromethri are the 3 riders out front at the moment in that Category 2 race. So they are just under 3 kilometres ahead of this Category 1 race field. So Althebe has been doing some breakaways at the moment. He has been brought back in. He got caught out earlier on by another breakaway and indeed had to time trial his way back onto the back of this group. Once recovered, he put an attack in and has stretched the group and whittled the group down a little bit further. But this group now full of class riders. Bjarhed, Paradians, Knudsen, Van Elst, Nair, Vanden Eckhout, Zanaska, SS, Addy, Safrazad, Popovic, X100, really class riders. Now, on the left-hand side of your screen, coming up for 30 kilometres into this race, Mark Dadson has attacked and gone clear of the Category 3 race field. And what a performance from Dadson. Now, for those of you who regularly follow the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club, you will know that Mark Dadson is always on the attack. So Dadson, an absolute rider who makes the brave commitment to attack this race field, not always rewarded with a top 5 race finish, normally always within the top 10, but always making the action. And I am chuffed for Dadson today. Dadson has ridden clear of that Category 3 race field. Now, I am going to will him to stay away from this pack today and take the win, but he has still got 15 kilometres of this race today to do so. He's got a 30-second gap. Yes, a 30-second gap to Lopez there, who is leading the chase currently behind in that Category 3 race. Now, in that Category 1 race, Graves and Noren are on the attack. They have got a little dig going out here in this Category 1 race field. So Noren and Graves just being shut down by Van Elst. Van Elst is the rider to close that gap with Safrazad there as well. Now, we are starting to see a lot of action at the front of all of these race fields as Vujasin and Noren and this pack catch for the first time riders at the back of the Category 2 race field. So this group of yellow jersey Category 1 riders just picking up those Category 2 green jersey riders on this attack as they stretch through the segment and pick up the back end of that Category 2 race field. So it's Rodriguez here that Graves has gone past. He is one of these Category 2 riders who this Category 1 pack have picked up. And in the confusion, Noren is just stretching off the front there. It's always one of those times where riders need to be really careful. Picking up the riders of the back of other race fields creates a little confusion, and Noren has been able to attack here. So Noren has made the benefit of this and pushed a little push on. Noren is pushing on here on those pedals and extending a little lead. It's only 2 seconds at the moment, and Safrazad has seen the danger, and Safrazad is at the front of that group. And Safrazad, I think, with Knudsen and Bjarhead are going to be the riders to pull this back in. So Knudsen is the rider chasing down Noren in this Category 1 race field. Knudsen and Graves. Graves has put a big kick in to close this gap and get onto Knudsen's wheel. Now can Noren, Knudsen and Graves go clear? That would be an amazing 3-man breakaway. But I cannot imagine Vujasin and Safrazad, who are the riders behind, are going to let them go. But Knudsen, Graves and Noren are 1, 2, 3 kicking away from the Category 1 race field behind. So Knudsen, Graves and Noren are the 3 riders clear of this chase group, but the chase group is being brought back now to the wheel of Graves and Noren and Knudsen, and we are going to see this group come back together again. Now, we've seen quite an attacking race here from these Category 1 riders, but all the attacks so far have been pulled back in. There has been damage done to the back of the group, however, as this Category 1 race has whittled down. Now, originally we had 61 riders on the start sheets. That is definitely not a 61 rider pack in front of you. In fact, that pack is now set at around 22 riders in that group. So just over 20 riders in that Category 1 lead pack. As Zanaska is the rider to push on. So we are seeing attack after attack coming now in this Category 1 race field. Zanaska has pushed on. Graves has closed the gap to his wheel. Knudsen and Vujasin are doing the work behind us. Knudsen is the rider to come across again. So we've now got Zanaska, Graves and Knudsen as the 1, 2, 3 as the group is being stretched behind, and it's Popovic who's doing the work behind with X100 and Safrazad. The UAE clan team do not want these riders down the field. Knudsen, Graves and are now being brought back in. Safrazad, X100 are pushed on with Paradians. They are bringing those 3 riders back in. But this is fast and furious now we are seeing in this Category 1 race field. We're seeing attack after attack go. These riders do not want to leave it to our Category 3 climb at the end of this race today. So that Category 3 climb coming towards the end of this race today, 6.2 kilometres in length with an average gradient of 5.2%. Now, there are steeper sections on it. It is a stepped climb, but this is a pack of 22 class riders in this Category 1 race field. And these class riders are on form because the Esports World Championships is indeed on the 18th of February, and a number of these riders will be representing their countries in that event. Now, Knudsen, Vujasin, Van den Eckhout, X100, Graves, Kalman, Noren are all pushing on at the moment and all sat now in that group as we take a look a little bit further down the road to the lead in the Category 4 race, and it's Novella who has pushed on there. So we have seen attack after attack in Category 3, Category 2 and Category 1, and now we are seeing an attack in Category 4 as Novella pushes on, and the chase is coming behind that. So these riders are now at just shy of 34.5 kilometers into this race as Novella pushes on. Kamesh is there, Golbun is there. They are pushing to try and close that gap. Agudelu is there as well as Mendoza. These riders all now coming back together again with around 10 kilometers left in this race for them. So Mendoza is in one in that group, and that group are all now back together again. Just over 5 kilometers back down the road. This is our Category 1 race field, and they are coming up now on to the back of another Category 2 group. So that Category 2 group, they are catching here. You can just see them on the road ahead there. So we've got Gutierrez in there. We've got Abello in there. These riders are sat in that group now and just waiting for this Category 1 group to pick them up. So you can see on the top right-hand corner of your screen, we've now got riders scattered all over the road in front of this Category 1 race pack. They are about to come into the back of multiple groups of riders, and multiple riders having been shed from their own races that started before this Category 1 group. So our Category 1 pack goes over the top, and this is a perfect point for attack as we see this Category 1 race field start to stretch and those attacks come, because when you run into the back of these riders, it gets a little bit confusing, and it's Graves who's gone on the attack with Panizza and Knudsen, and Van Elst is in there as well with Vujasin. They've gone up and they've gone over the top. Now Graves has indeed sat up a little bit there with Panizza, X100, Safrazad, all those riders now coming back together again, and it's looking like we've got 2 of those Category 2 riders who have been able to jump into that group and go with that pack. So Abello looks to be one of those riders who has been able to go with that group. Now, Abello is one of our class Category 2 riders, in fact. Abello was indeed 5th in our January final. So a tactic here from Abello to wait being caught and then jump into that lead pack. And having done that quite successfully here, Abello, our Category 2 rider who is sat in that pack. In fact, we do indeed have another rider in there as well, and that is, just checking there, that is indeed Karsajal. So we've got two Category 2 riders now sat in that Category 1 pack. Now, interesting to see how long it will be that those Category 2 riders can stay in that group. Can they take a tow all the way up to the pack in that Category 2 race? Though we did see some big attacks coming, and Sprat had indeed with Aura Methri about a 30-second gap on that Category 2 chase pack last time we took a look at what was going on in that race. In fact, taking a look at what is going on in that Category 2 race, Sprat, Maglio and Aura Methri have got Cornish, one of our Category 3 riders, in sight. They've started to go through the back of that Category 3 race field and are putting more distance between them and that chase group in the Category 2 race. So Sprat is the first rider to pass Cornish. Aura Methri and Maglio follow quickly as the next rider down the road is the rest of that Category 3 pack, and it is looking like they are 1.6 kilometers down the road. So some distance now to go for those Category 2 riders to catch the rest of that Category 3 pack, but there is not so long to go for this Category 1 group to catch the back of that Category 2 race field, because Vujasin, Paridans, Panitsa, Safrazad, Knudsen are only about 25 seconds off the back of that Category 2 group. So they will shortly have that Category 2 pack in their sights, and it is a big pack of riders by the look of that. 23 seconds down the road, it's looking as though that is the chase group in the Category 2 race field. And the question is, can our Category 2 riders who had jumped into this Category 1 pack, can they stay in this group and take that tow for the next 25 seconds? Now it's looking like Abello is going to be able to make that juncture, because Abello is sat comfortably in that group at the moment. And as we tick under the end of the next segment, so 32.5 kilometers now travelled for this Category 1 pack. They go under the end of segment number 6, and it is this Category 1 pack who have set the fastest time through that segment. So 5 kilometer segment with Safrazad going through in 7 minutes and 13 seconds, but the rest of that pack all going through within a second of Safrazad. In fact, now we've got 16 riders in that Category 1 pack, with a Bello in there as well. And actually, Aura Methri and Sprat have gone through pretty much at a very similar time to each other. And then the chase pack behind them are still working hard, but not as hard as the 3 Category 2 riders, out front. So this Category 1 race field all together at the moment. We're just watching X100 stretch his legs there, and just stretch his legs down the front there. A little bit of an attack coming from X100. Now that is an interesting move. We've seen X100 as a master tactician to the time trial pace, and riding a steady pace and setting his own pace, and not worrying about what's going on ahead, and riding his own race. Now, just putting a little stretch of the legs in there, just stretching that race field. Knudsen goes over the top. Vanden Eckhout, Van Els, Graves, SS. Panitsa is in there as well, and Noren. Now this group tapping along very comfortably here as a group of 16 Category 1 riders. They've got a Bello in with them. They've got one Category 2 rider in them, continuing to take that tow up to the next group of riders on the race ahead of them. Now, that next group of riders on the race ahead of them are 6 seconds down the road. In fact, they're just going to be in sight as X100 pushes again, and that group is here. If they could turn their heads, they'd see that Category 1 pack coming behind them. This is the chase group in that Category 2 field. It's got Ospina, Cardenas, Smithson, Bogren in here, Gakes. These is the pack of category 2 riders chasing those 3 riders who have broken away, as we see Zanaska try and kick and pull this category 1 pack over the top. Now, who's going to kick from this category 2 pack, and can they go with this category 1 group? Gakes is having to put out 7 watts per kilo to try and stay in the group. Gakes is strong. Giuliano is going with him as well. Now, these category 2 riders are really working hard to hang on to the back of this group and to take a toe off of these riders. If they can get into the draft, they're going to feel the benefit of this pack going past, unless this pack push and kick and put an attack in off of this category 1 catch now. They haven't. This group, it's now a big group on the road. Take a look at that. This group, we've now seen the category 2 race field come together with the category 1 race field and form a large group of riders on the road today. So those kicks from those category 2 riders have made a successful transition into this category 1 pack. So Smithson, Giuliano, Bogren, Ospina have all managed to get into this category 1 lead pack as they have come up onto the back of this group of category 2 racers. Now, in this category 2 race field, Spratt, Methry and Hamden are down the road, a 3-man breakaway as we saw earlier on. This is the chase group, and now having been picked up by this category 1 race field, how long can the category 2 pack take the toe off this category 1 field to bring them closer to that 3-man breakaway? So Cadiz, who took 3rd place in that category 2 race field last week, is here with Ospina and Maglio, and Albello is in here as well. He was indeed caught earlier in this category 1 group, brought him back to this category 2 pack, and now comfortably in this group, being towed down the road and making the benefit of the draft. Now, the green Watts numbers at the top left-hand side of your screen indicate that draft. The black numbers indicate that the riders are not in the draft, and we can just see a little further down the road. So, just under 2 kilometres down the road now is indeed Spratt, Methry and Maglio. They are our riders in the lead in this category 2 race. So a 2-kilometre gap, and we've got a couple of category 2 riders in the wind between this pack and this lead group of 3. So Kranich and Moreno are indeed in between these 3 breakaway riders, and the pack now sat with this category 1 group. So still riders between the lead 3 and the chasing group. So that field really split apart by the attack from Maglio, Spratt and Methry, and interesting to see who gets picked up and who doesn't, and whether Spratt, Methry and Maglio can indeed stay away. So this pack now all riding together over the wooden bridge and about to come back onto the tarmac. So 54 minutes of racing now complete for our category 1 race field. 36.5 kilometres of a 45-kilometre race distance now complete as well. So 1.3 kilometres down the road, this is the next 2 riders that will get caught by this pack in this category 2 race. So Kranich and Moreno are riders 4 and 5 in this category 2 race field. So you can see there we've got our category 4 race leaders at 39.97 kilometres into this race. They are on that final climb. They are on that category 3 climb to the finish with 5 kilometres now to go. Our category 3 leader is now in front of our category 4 race field. So Mark Dadson having an outstanding ride today, having gone past Goldburn, the current leader in that category 4 race. You can just see him on that shot with the category 4 riders going round the bend in front. That is Mark Dadson. Mark Dadson is the leader in the category 3 race and our current leader on the road on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club qualifier number 1 for February. So Dadson at 40.2 kilometres. Our Category 1 race field at 37.2 kilometres. There's 3 kilometres separating Mark Dadson, the leader of the race at the moment on the road, and the leading Category 1 bunch. So Dadson now on the final climb of the day. This climb 6.2 kilometres in length. Dadson's currently at 10% gradient here. It's an average gradient of 5.2%, but as we were talking about before, it is a stepped climb, and this stepped climb has some very steep sections on it. It has some flats on it too, and some slight downhills. So understanding and having pre-ridden that climb is absolutely essential. We're dropping back in now a little bit further down the road from Dadson. This is our leading group in this Category 1 race. It also contains a chase group in the Category 2 field, and they are now sweeping up additional riders who have been dropped from their own race fields, and these riders are looking like they are our Category 3 riders who are coming back now to this group on the road. So as we see our Category 1 and Category 2 riders now start to pick up these Category 3 riders and start to go past these Category 3 back markers, we're not seeing much action now from this group, and this Category 1 pack had some early attacks going out and underway and had whittled that group down to 16 Category 1 riders, but now content to sit and now content to tow those Category 2 riders up this race field. So the lead in the Category 2 race, Spratt and Maglio, around 1.5 kilometres down the road from that pack, and continuing to kick on. So Spratt and Maglio now on that climb as well. They are on the foothills of that Category 3 climb. So just that Category 3 climb, that finish line is at the top, separating Spratt and Maglio from the win in this Category 2 race field today. So Knudsen X100 just tapping away at the front of this group. No real push at the moment coming from these Category 1 riders. They are content to sit, and they are content to have a large group of around 16 Category 1 riders in this group. We've also got a number of Category 2 riders in here. That's a group of Category 2 riders that this Category 1 group caught and have now jumped in with this Category 1 group and are taking that tow and taking the benefit of the draft from this Category 2 group. So at 38.9 kilometres, that blue banner signifies the start of segment number 7 now. Segment number 7 in this race is the last segment today, and it finishes 1.1 kilometres to the finish in this race. So all of our categories are now on the final climb of the day. It is a Category 3 climb with the checkered flag at the top, 6.2 kilometres total in length, 5.2% average gradient, but some really steep kickers as we see Panizza, the rider who kicks on at the front, and Vujasin is the rider who is chasing. So Panizza going for early attack on this climb now on this Category 1 race field. He will see Cornish not very far ahead and Duke in that Category 3 race field. So Panizza pushing on now and going to start to see the back markers of the rest of the race field as encouragement and motivation to continue that attack. So Panizza continues to attack. Cornish comes into sight. Duke is just round the corner. Soberg is a little bit further down the road as Panizza continues this attack in this Category 1 race. So Panizza continuing to attack and now passing those back markers in that Category 3 race field. It is going to be Category 2 riders that Panitsa sees next. If these Category 1 riders allow him to get away, but they're not, as Vijacin comes over the top with Paradians as well. Nair is there, and Safrazad, and Knudsen, and Noren. They have all been brought back together again. We've got a couple of Category 1 riders now just trying to make the juncture back onto this group as this race continues to push. Dadson is still our Category 3 rider who is leading that Category 3 rider and is leading this race out front at the top of that group, but this group continuing to stretch, and it's Vijacin now that picks up the mantle here at 8 watts per kilo. Vijacin is now the rider pushing on. Knudsen is giving chase with Safrazad and Noren, and these riders are continuing to push on this climb. So Torrento is the next Category 2 rider this group is going to see as Vijacin continues to push. Knudsen, Safrazad and Paradians are the riders to go with him as they go over the top of Vijacin and continue to push on this climb. So the climb now kicking up at over 10%. These riders pushing on. We've got Knudsen, Safrazad, Vijacin, Paradians, Noren in here as well as Knudsen kicks again and continues to try and stretch this Category 1 race field. Knudsen taking this corner. Knudsen is going to see one of our Category 2 riders up ahead shortly. That will be the next rider to catch on this climb. So Knudsen, Vijacin, Zanaska, Paradians, Nair, Noren, Safrazad, all within 5 seconds of each other at the moment. But it's Knudsen, the rider, who has pushed on here. Knudsen, the rider, who has got a short gap, as you can see him just going round that climb ahead of these chasing riders. It's Vijacin, Zanaska, Paradians, and Nair who are doing the chasing with Noren and Safrazad. Popovic is there as well, but it's Knudsen that has gone clear. So 1.5 kilometres up the road, this Category 3 chase group are chasing and they are pushing hard. They have caught Dadson. So Mark Dadson, the early leader in that Category 3 race, has now been caught on this climb. Come on, Dadson, get in that group and stay there. So Simeo is the rider to go past, and Restrepo is there as well. Lopez is a little bit further back with Parisi a little bit further back down the road, but we've got 6 riders here now with Dadson just suffering from that attack. So Kasumano is the rider with Simeo and Restrepo and Lopez here. We've also got riders here too in this group pushing on and trying to go past Dadson, who is now at the back of that group of 6 riders at the front of that Category 3 race. So our Category 3 riders are fighting it out at the front of this race a little further down the road, whilst Knudsen is putting an attack in to this Category 1 race. And Knudsen's got about 3 seconds now to Vijacin and Zanaska as he continues to push on this climb. So the leaders of that Category 2 race, Aura Methri, Maglio and Spratt, had indeed gone clear of that group. Aura Methri now, we've said before, he's a consummate climber and absolutely showing that climbing class right now with phenomenal cadence on this climb on the steeper segments. So Aura Methri pushing on, Maglio in 2, Spratt in 3. There's a 3-second gap back to Maglio, but a 17-second gap back to Spratt. So Spratt now in 3rd place, Maglio in 2, Aura Methri leading this Category 2 race. And Aura Methri now coming onto the back of this Category 4 pack. He's about to pass Mendoza and Goldburn and Kamesh. These are the riders ahead of him up the road as Maglio just squeezes on to the back of Aura Methri and goes up and over the top. Maglio pushes on and goes past those back markers in that Category 4 field. Aura Methri's got a dig to close that gap now as we see Safrazad in trouble in this Category 1 race. So Zanaska in trouble, Safrazad in trouble. We've got Popovic, Paradians, Vijacin and Knudsen pushing on down the group, down the road here. Vijacin is the rider with Paradians. leading this group. No, in fact, Knudsen is the rider leading this group. He is now clear of this pack. So Knudsen in 1, Paradians in 2. Popovic is there, Vujasin is there, but Safrazad is 5 seconds back now. Safrazad has got some work to do if he wants to push on and catch those leading riders. So Safrazad currently in 5th place in this Category 1 race. So Safrazad pushing on here, but our lead rider in this Category 1 race, just nipping into the tunnel here, is Michael Knudsen. So Knudsen in 1, 42.5 kilometres now travelled in this race. Paradians in 2, Vujasin in 3, and the riders just up the road are indeed our Category 3 race leaders on the left-hand side of your screen. So on the right-hand side of your screen, Knudsen, the leader in the Category 1 race. On the left-hand side of your screen, we're with the leaders in the Category 3 race, who are the leaders on the race course today at the moment. They are 1 kilometre ahead. They are 1 kilometre down the road from Knudsen, the current leader in that Category 1 race. So Knudsen continues to push on. He's working his way through the back of that Category 4 race field. The next rider he's going to see is Nicholas Spratt. Spratt currently 3rd place in that Category 3 race, 6 seconds up the road from Knudsen. Knudsen continues to push on. Vujasin and Paradians are 5 seconds back with Pablo Popovic. So Pablo Popovic, Vujasin and Paradians 5 seconds back. Safrazad 2 seconds further back behind him. Safrazad got an amazing finish on him. We've seen it time and time again. But has Safrazad left himself too much to do today? So Safrazad coming up onto the back of Vujasin and Paradians. Safrazad making the catch to the 3 riders down the road. So now we've got Popovic, Vujasin, Paradians and Safrazad in 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th place all together as they enter the tunnel here. Knudsen has already gone through. Knudsen is about 7 seconds up the road from this group of 4 riders. This group of 4 riders, the next rider they are going to see is Nicholas Spratt. So Spratt, our Category 2 rider, just up the road and is about to be caught now by this group of Category 1 riders. Paradians, Popovic and Vujasin are all about to go past him. So Safrazad just passing Spratt on the right-hand side of your screen. On the left-hand side of your screen, there's 750 metres to go for this Category 3 lead group in this race field. Can this Category 3 group stay out? And can this Category 3 group make it to the finish line before our Category 1 riders catch them? So Lopez here with 600 metres to go. Lopez and Simeo are pushing on in this Category 3 race field. Whoa, I don't think Knudsen is going to do this. So Knudsen is chasing and Knudsen is chasing hard, but currently 12th on the road is Knudsen. Knudsen's next rider he's going to catch is going to be Dadson, our early leader in this Category 3 race, as our Category 3 leaders, Simeo and Lopez with Restrepo in 3, go into the tunnel. They've got just under 400 metres to go. So 400 metres to go for Simeo and Lopez in this Category 3 race. Knudsen's coming through with 1k to go, but Knudsen is not going to make this catch as Simeo continues to push on and Lopez is pushing hard to catch in this Category 3 race. They hit the downhill segment and they are going to see the climb to the finish very, very shortly, and that banner is going to come into sight as Simeo goes through, and Simeo takes the win with Lopez in 2, and Restrepo, I think, is going to come through for 3rd place in that Category 3 race. So a little bit further down the road, Knudsen has still got around 700 metres to go in this race. He's 10th, currently lying on this race field today. So the Category 3 winners taking the win on the road today. Knudsen, our leader in this Category 2 race, has got 4 seconds on Paradians in 2. And Paradians, you can just see him in the shot there coming round that corner with Knudsen out in front. Knudsen kicking hard. Paradians trying to close the gap. Knudsen's going to have to kick if he wants to stay away, because Paradines is coming hard on his heels. So Knudsen goes past Gill, a Category 3 rider on this course. Paradines is chasing hard and about to make that catch to the Category 3 rider as well. Knudsen's got about 5 seconds here as he heads towards that tunnel. So Knudsen in 1, Paradines in 2, Vujacin in 3, Safrazad in 4, Popovic in 5, Zanaska in 6 in this Category 1 race. X100 is looking like he's in 7th, continuing to tap his own pace up this climb today. So Paradines is pushing on. Knudsen is still in 1. Knudsen's got 300 metres to go. Can he stay clear of Paradines? 300 metres to ensure he takes this win today as he swoops round the corner and hits the downhill before the final climb. So Knudsen comes to that final kicker. Knudsen sees the finish banner. Knudsen's going to take the win on the Sunday Race Club qualifier number 1 in February. Paradines comes through for 2. Can Vujacin stay clear for 3? Popovic is in 4 at the moment, but Vujacin stays clear for 3rd place. Popovic is going to take 4th place in this Category 1 race today. Oh, that was close on the line there. Safrazad pushed on in 5th and nearly took Popovic, but Popovic is going to take that 4th place today. So that was fast and furious in the end up that climb as we saw the riders try and come together there. So let's take a look at that finish. So Knudsen taking the win there with the fastest time today. 1 hour and 12 minutes 49 seconds to take the win in that Category 1 race from Paradines. So Knudsen in 1, Paradines in 2. Currently our results showing Vujacin in 3 and Zanaska in 4, but you will have to head over to MyWhoosh.com for the verified final results today. So we are now showing Norin coming through in 5th and Nair in 6th. Popovic and Safrazad are looking like they are not coming up on our screen at the moment. Now, Hassan Al-Ramethri takes the win in that Category 2 race. We said he was a great climber and he has proved that today, with Maglio taking 2nd and Spratt taking 3rd. In our Category 3 race, Simeo takes the win there from Lopez. Simeo and Lopez are first riders over the line today in that race. So what a race today. So our Category 3 riders stayed clear, and whilst Dadson had put an early attack in that race, he was not the rider over the line. That ride went to Simeo, and Knudsen taking the win in Category 1. So our February first round qualifier has given us some great racing today. It's been an absolute pleasure putting words to the action. If you want to follow me, you can find me on social media at Biking Emma. Of course, you can follow MyWhoosh on all the social media platforms and head over to mywhoosh.com. Take a look at the verified results. You can find the broadcast live on the MyWhoosh YouTube channel and join us to race again in February. So from all the team at MyWhoosh, stay safe and enjoy your riding. We'll see you again soon. Goodbye.